Instead of using simulation, they use physical tests, so obviously the cost goes up. And this is again subject to the individual skill and fatigue. It's error prone, obviously. Right? A potential solution could be computer vision based quality, and for tracking, blockchain based ideas. The other one would be the tryout is the limited choice, because you go to a shop, the retail shop, you only go with, I mean, this is the long tail issue. Whatever I have is what you can try, but if I have a design, probably you're not going to be able to show me, or you're not going to be able to build that. Is there, I mean, that's essentially customization. Okay? So here we could probably bring AR, VR, mixed reality, and for personal curation, and also, I mean, not that for store optimization, but we could use that as well, more from an emotion capturing perspective and other stuff. Okay? So that's the context that I'm setting. And these are, you know, I'm at a GJEPC event, so I don't need to give, but for the sake of completeness, I'm giving these numbers. So this is a very large opportunity and a very large market, right? And we are consuming gold. That's a very interesting thing. Like whenever I drive my mom towards one of these jewelry shop in the main roads, as the price goes up, there's more crowd. So that's sort of counterintuitive, right? So there's people keep buying more and more. And here are a few things that I've highlighted based on our experience and what we come across. One of the major problems is the inventory mismanagement. So this is, again, you design it to stock. You don't design it to the customer needs. That's one of the main reasons for this, right? And when it comes to India, it's primarily the exquisite jewelry, right? So it's handmade oftentimes. We saw this number of 80%, but most of the time it's handmade. And even in the large corporations, we saw that they don't have a digital record of this. Okay? Skilled artisans is necessarily a shortage. Okay? So is there a way that we can address all these things? Counterfeit is a major problem. The numbers are like mind-boggling. Yeah, computer simulation, I already told you. Right? So the question is, this is just an outlay. No? If you talk with more people, sellers and manufacturers who deal with gold, diamond, and all sorts of stuff, jewelry, probably they're going to have much more, a larger list. Right? So the question is, I'm just going to sort of like uncover what are the possibilities of AI in this domain. There's no way that this talk is comprehensive. Right? So how can AI empower us to address most of these? And the idea is that we can compete globally. At the same time, can we preserve our rich heritage? That's the whole point. Right? So this is how AI has affected positively few domains. Right? So from the market growth, we are looking at the projected numbers are here, huge. And in manufacturing, this is generic manufacturing, not in the jewelry sector, right, necessarily. It's roughly at about 50%. So this is like huge. There's an intersection of robotics and AI, sensor-driven, IoT. This is a marriage of all these things coming together, cloud computing. This is a huge shift in the way that we have done manufacturing in the last decade. Okay? And design innovation. So today, I mean, I come from the Department of Engineering Design, so we own designs. So today you can go to an LLM, you can curate parts in whichever domain it is. Even in automotive, we have built our own SLMs, small language models. You can go and ask in a conversational AI sense. I don't know where that is going in the next few years. Okay? So customer experience. Okay? So even this morning, we were chatting with someone. This is a paradigm shift. For instance, there's one company that works with the pant project. So you can see how this cloth is going to look on you, how this fit is going to be on you, just sitting at your home. Okay? That's a virtual tryout is possible today. Okay? Or you can go to a shop, they don't have the shirt yet. You can wear some other shirt, but you can see how that design is going to be on you. So this is possible today, right? it's just a larger version of what Lenskart has already done. Now, looking at these two, it's super simple for us to imagine that we could do the same on jewelry as well. And it's interesting that majority of the market has not done it yet. Okay, and you can see the difference between a pant and a jewelry, right? Like the cost is so high, and there's at least in a country like India, there's so much emotion attached with buying jewelry, and we have not tried that part. So that's the interesting part, right? So the core challenges, the first one is primarily from the digitization. So anything AI that you talk about, you need an image or you need a data. Image is essentially data. So you need a digital version. It could be a picture, it could be a CAD model, it could be something, but it should be a digital version, right? So that's that part. Then the slow design iteration. So AI is naturally going to help us here to come up with additional designs. So we talked about artisans, but similarly designers as well. So you don't want the designers to spend time on repeating existing designs, right? So the repetition part can be taken care by AI so that the designer can spend their time more on the creative part of it. And the manual quality control, so this is super interesting because today we see people, like 3 people, 5 people each shift. There's a huge cost as well, right? And then you're using human vision to do it. That's not the way to do it. Because obviously there is going to be fatigue. And of course, in all the places that we have seen, it's usually women who do it. This dates back to the NASA days when Boeing was building, when they didn't have calculators and they'll have to do this, they trusted women to do that. That's natural, right? But then, in spite of all this, it slips. There's quality issues still, right? So, the few cases that we came across and we have helped people get better at is sort of think about a search engine for a jewelry. Okay, this came as a requirement to us. Someone said that, let's say someone looks at a jewel that someone was wearing, like a necklace or a earring. They took a picture of it, maybe from a magazine, or they took a real picture, and then they come to the jewelry shop and ask, do you have a design similar to this? Now, there is a store manager, and this is now dependent on him, meaning there is an individual memory. Now, this person needs to remember whether such a design was there or not. So this is super difficult. But if I'm able to have a digital version of it, all I have to do is go search, look for a comparison of these two, and find out, did we have a design to begin with? If we had a design, yes, maybe I don't have it in my store, I might have it in some other store, or I might be able to make it for you again. There's going to be different timelines, there's going to be different costs, right? But currently, majority of the corporations, they don't have this yet. Okay? But if you do this search after this talk, you'll find out across the world, there are different companies, they already do this. You can upload any kind of a design, and they will say whether they have it or not, or what is the closest to design, they will give you ranks and all that. This is how it works, right? So you just provide a sketch, and the computer is going to understand it, it's going to convert it into a mathematical fingerprint, sort of, and then you go and search against a database. This is just any search-based stuff, or any basic machine learning pattern recognition. This is how it works. So the magic lies in converting, that's what I said, right? Some form of digital version is what you need to have, okay? Now, since we are talking about going from design to manufacturing, you better want it as a CAD. So design to CAD or physical model. So today, people have the original jewels, but they don't have the CAD models, but it can be done. You can just do cloud point rich 3D scanning, and then you will be able to reconstruct the CAD models. It's not straightforward, but we can do it, it's possible, right? And we want to move from individual memory to institutional memory so that we can discover or retrieve existing designs. And another use case is my grandmother's or my grandfather's design. I don't have the jewel, but here is a design from a picture. Is there a way that you can recreate this for me? Okay. So AI enhancement. So we saw there was a Sheen AI. There was a thing at the at the exhibition center. They do something similar to this, AI enhancement, and then it lets you compare existing designs and stuff like that. Right? So The other use case could be there's an occasion, and what sort of a jewel do I want, what sort of stones, and what is the budget range or the pricing, and I'll be able to give you few designs so that you can select. Okay. Currently, this happens in a very unorganized and an informal sense, but this would let you go through so that we can build a huge repository of stuff, and we will be able to give more choice to the customer essentially. Okay. So one thing even the previous speaker spoke about, if you think about it, what AI should focus and rather is already doing is help you with the decision-making process. So whatever I told you right now, it's all about the decision-making process, right? So wherever there is repetition and then you need to make decision, there's a default option is go for the AI part, okay? All right, so now this personalization, there's an example that I already gave, and there are some numbers from the internet that says 25% in conversion rate, and 40% higher adder values, and in the e-commerce, there are some numbers associated with it. So here is the point, right? Like, since we work in this area of AI, often people ask us across the board, people from different domains, they ask us like, oh, is this AI going to take all the jobs away? Just think of this as what software did about 40 years ago. Software came, yes, it did automate few jobs, but it created a lot more jobs. So that's what is going to happen. If you need to have a job, yes, you need to sort of do an intersection of AI and whatever you are currently doing. Okay? So the train is going to go. The question is whether you are going to board or not. Okay? The train is going, and it's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? So the greatest waste, I mean, we think with respect to gold, it's about the greatest waste is about the material, right? It's actually not. It's about building products that people don't want because there is a cost to the seller or the manufacturer when they do that, which is essentially absorbed by the buyer, because they will not be able to absorb the loss, right? So it actually indirectly helps all of us if we are able to build things that people want, okay? And that's what the customer preference and the design should meet it, and unsold inventory, we can take care of it. And with more data, we are able to get better recommendation and better designs and choices, right? And even in the creativity sense, what this artificially generated image, what it says is we can increase the design cycle, and today you can also come up with newer designs in a generative sense. That's something people ask, like, can AI come up with designs? Could mean different things, or can come up with data that it has not seen. Yes, that's what generative AI means. It's a combination, it can do that. And so this is something that's going to build up, coming up. It's the brand, meaning the brand could mean the seller or the user. So now this is like a recommendation that Amazon or any of your e-commerce platform gives when you log in. It knows that this is what you bought the last time, and this is likely that, so it projects the recommendations, right? In a similar fashion, we can build this DNA, that's one thing. Trend forecasting with data, that's something that is going to happen. Emotional resonance is something that people are currently working at. In many of the shops today you go, there's a facial recognition part. That's not the facial recognition, the facial emotion capture part is happening. And there are even thoughts about healing parks, you know. So there's a company that we chatted with. They want to do brew coffee based on your emotion. You go into a coffee shop, and there is a facial stuff that happens, and then they say, this is your mood, and this is the coffee that you need to have. So that's how this entire market space is transforming, okay? Okay, so yes, it doesn't replace, it may replace jobs, but it doesn't replace creativity. It amplifies it, and then it frees designers so that they can focus on what is the most important part, which is the refinement and the innovation part. And to the center of all this is a measurement of creative efficiency, which was not possible earlier. Okay, so on the quality inspection part, we could use, this is the current reality, 20% defect slip through, and you could use a camera, which is like in milliseconds, it can process stuff, right? And then the interesting part is, you can do this in parallel as well, because the algorithm is one, but I can deploy it as far as you can invest in 10 cameras, I can have 10 lines going in parallel. That's not an issue, okay? All right. And then there's no fatigue. It can run how many ever shifts you want. It necessarily increases productivity. And it's not about replacing workers. And the last part is the AI enhanced in-store experience. So the virtual try-on, so she is just using some VR goggles to be able to try different jewels that's possible in a virtual sense. And personalized curation is possible, so you can come up with your own design. This is already done by a few corporations. You can come up with your own designs and you can see how it looks like on your own picture. And store optimization, so this is what I said, your facial emotions are being captured and I can predict certain stuff. So these are the methods that are shaping basically the text to image or conversational AI to image or CAD, those kind of stuff. Generative design also possible. On the manufacturing stage, computer vision for the quality control, predictive maintenance, process optimization. In the retail stage, the virtual try-ons. And authentication, I didn't cover this, but we could use blockchain to make sure this is equivalent to your diamond passport or your battery passport, similar to that. So I come from IIT Madras, so I need to advertise a little bit. We came all the way from Chennai. So I gave all this background. So where is it that we might, if someone is interested, these are a few places where we could help you. If you're an individual company or a collective, sponsored projects, you define a problem and we'll be able to develop solutions. Technology licensing, we sometimes have products, algorithms, whatnot, and you can just license it from us or you can buy it from us. Or AI strategy consulting, this is something that we figured out. Oftentimes people think fear of being left out. Okay, I went to this talk and then this guy said so much, I don't know what to implement in my stuff, right? So please invite us. Of course, there's a cost associated with that, but we can go over your facility and then we can say, here are a few things that you could do. Okay. And if you are like a GJEPC sort of industry body, it can be a common training, shared data set. This is, in other domains, there's something like data set for India. So similar to that, if our jewelry designs are specific, that's what we think, and we are ready to share that, then we should build that one, okay? So benchmarks and policy inputs. So some projects that we are already working on is the multimodal CAD retrieval. This multimodal is the different types of inputs. It can be conversational, you can give text, you can give images. So AI-based simulation to replace destructive testing. Then heritage jewelry digitization, quality inspection, this is computer vision based. Then AR solutions along with psychophysics, that's the part. You need the psychophysics part to get details from your emotions and stuff like that. And so our goal is to see how we can place India in the global scale with respect to the jewelry sales and manufacturing. And closing thoughts from my end, centuries of craftsmanship, skilled career workforce. How do we preserve the diverse design heritage? What AI has is speed and consistency is what we think, and preserves heritage designs digitally. At the same time, it can also come up with innovative designs and enhanced personalization. So that's the direction the entire world is going on, right? Like more personalization. And we have a chance to leapfrog. If we could help any of you in any way in that, we'll be more than happy to do that. These are our contact details. If you have pointed questions, you can send. So Professor Arnachalam is here, who's the artificial diamond person. And the first email ID is mine. The second one is there. Please feel free to write to any of us if you have any questions on that. So that's bringing me to the end of this talk. Thanks for your attention. I'll hang on for a while if you have any questions. Yeah, please.
So AI use in applications is coming along quite rapidly.
Yes.
What I've seen is it transforming creative spaces, like for example, apparel design.
Yes.
There are a lot more startups and a lot more software available for apparel design, even from rendering to design.
Right.
But I have not seen as much happen in jewelry space.
Yes.
So what do you think, or what you think about why AI application in jewelry has been slower compared to other categories? Even for example, interior design, there are more startups doing that with AI application. But with jewelry, at least from my research, I found like barely one or two.
Not many actually, not many. So I don't know, this is just my opinion. I believe the value associated with that is where the question is. That is my honest opinion, right? But actually, it should be the other way around. There's more value, so I'll have to invest and I'll have to build more startups so that there will be more profits for them as well, and then I'll be able to help people because there's so much money that I put into it, and I need to make sure because we went to one place and then they were coming with the S hook, right? And they have like very interesting designs, but they don't want to do it because they don't have a way to check whether that's going to, because if the S hook fails, the loss is huge. Right? So they're not trying the new designs from the risk perspective. So I believe that is the basic driving stuff. And probably, I don't know, there are people who practice jewelry here. They need to tell whether my thought process is correct. Probably this industry is little conservative to these advances because when we went also, traditional way of manufacturing, like several decades. Okay, so anyway, once they see the value, I'm pretty sure that they're going to change pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least I felt the same too, because India is either like second or third largest jewelry market.
Exactly.
But all these startups are right now in US.
Right.
And the US jewelry market is not tuned for design the way Indian jewelry designs are. So
Yeah, but that I have an answer, right? There, the risk-taking capability is much more in the US. That is in anything. Any startup, the risk-taking capability is, appetite is more in the US. We, in general, our culture, we are very risk-averse kind of a people. And in jewelry, obviously, yes. That's a generic answer. Any other questions? Oh, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sagar. I'm a retailer.
Okay.
So all these things, the creative part you talked about is coming from the backward point of the business which I am dealing with. I am into the mostly in the front end, most direct to the customers. What I am facing the challenge is we need to reduce the inventory, optimize, not reduce, optimize the inventory according to the customer preference by analyzing the, forecasting the proper demand of the products which we are selling. You know, in a retail jewelry, traditional retail jewelry, you will have n number of designs.
Yes.
And the customers are not satisfied with after seeing even after this n into n number of designs.
Yeah.
So how can we identify the proper demand from our for a single store or for mine from my target customers and to identify and forecast a proper demand for the products.
Yeah.
And curate it, right? All this kind of customization, everything is the breakdown of the customization design. We have seen this. We have dealt with this after the Instagram and social media outbreak. People are coming with new designs daily and all. But as a retailer, what we are facing the most challenge is to how to optimize the proper stock for a specific outlet.
Yeah. So the question that you are asking is a conventional supply chain question.
Yeah.
Not just for jewelry. For any product you take, this question exists. Okay. Obviously, we need more data. One. That is going to be little challenging in an unorganized, if the sales happen in an unorganized fashion. Okay. So if we have retail outlets where all the details are captured, then probably you have the data and there is a way that we can look at seasonality and what times, what kind of jewelry is going to be sold. So it is possible to do that. That's one thing. And what I see, this is the first thing that I showed you, right? This large, some 12,000 crore issue was from the stock.
Yes.
They stocked it, assuming that this is going to happen, and it didn't happen. So some percentage of their shares were washed off. Right?
Exactly.
So there should be a disruptive thought process. So instead of designing and selling for stock, we should be designing and selling for the requirement.
Exactly.
So the entire industry has to change. This is the mindset is a paradigm shift. So then your supply chain becomes super efficient. So that is the end point. But if we collect data, then the predictions today are not as difficult as what it was a few years ago.
What if I can bring the, what if I can add many attributes as I required for each and every product and give it, make it in a spreadsheet? Or is there any AI-driven
Yeah.
techniques?
Today all these are, as he pointed out, you could go to Cursor, which is a vibe coding stuff, and then you could get the codes and then you can do it. But these predictions are not, that's what I said, it's not that difficult as it was about a few years ago. We could do that, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make that the last question.
Yeah, hi sir. So since for all the CAD designers or anyone, the main IP is their design or the CAD which they create with the thought process or so whatever they take, right? So now with the AI coming in, you can text and prompt anything.
Yeah.
It will go and search, scrape everywhere, wherever it is available, either Pinterest or anywhere, and get that CAD design or generate something. So now, how will those designers have to adapt to this AI going forward?
Okay, so there are two parts to this, right? Like, when we think of AI, we think only of ChatGPT, and then we say like the prompt that we give, someone else can see it is stored and all that. So there are two levels of answers to this. So one is you can also use other type of LLMs, which is vertical specific, okay? Or we can build it. It's not that difficult. Depending on the domains, it's not that difficult, right? So it's not that accessing in the cloud and giving our designs means it's already available for everyone. No, that's what you do with your emails also. You have a login, you have a password, and it doesn't mean that anyone can read your email. No, that's not. So in the same way, you have a login for your LLM, and then, so there are verticalized LLMs which can be built, or you can go to Olama, and then you have different vision models and all that, which will sit on your computer. So this is not connected to the internet, it's sitting on your computer and you can do this, which is sufficient for majority of the jewelry design retrieval. So the IP is preserved, there's no doubt about that part. So it's not as bad as it looks. So we can preserve, and for your kind information, all the automotive companies have moved their designs into AI-driven stuff, okay? Which is where we see the patents to be like super important, IP is to be super important. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your attention. If you have additional questions, feel free to email us. Thank you.
Thank you to our speakers for an engaging and thought-provoking discussion on the impact of how AI on various industries. Your presentation were informative and your insights have given us much to think about. Requesting Mr. Surya Rao from GJEPC to felicitate our speakers. I would like to call upon Mr. Tushar Gupta and Mr. Ramu, please come on the stage so that we can felicitate you. Thank you so much once again, sir. Requesting everyone to please settle down as we'll be starting with the next session now.